Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader this evening or afternoon or whenever you're viewing the reading. I'm also known as the Taropist, and anything that you need to know about myself or this channel, guys, you can definitely check out in the description of the channel description, the About Me section, whatever it's called there. You can check out my community tab, of course, and my website as well, which is www.theterapist.com. Guys, you can also follow me over on Facebook. I believe I know I have an Instagram. I don't know if that's linked in the channel description or not, but as well as a TikTok. Go ahead and give me a follow on all of those platforms if you feel inclined to. Um, a little bit more about the reading. We are just going to dive in. We're going to freestyle and see what the divine has for the collective audience. No idea what's going to come through or how long the reading is going to be. But if you do feel like the reading or my style in general resonates with you, please don't forget to hit that like button. And of course, if you feel like it could be beneficial to others, you can definitely always share my content. And um, as always, if you would like me to be more likely to pick up on your energy in this reading and future readings, doing any type of engagement is going to be beneficial. So, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, of course, on any of my videos or any of my community tab posts, as well as subscribing to the channel. Okay, guys, we are going to get right into your reading here and see what the divine has for you. We're going to start out with some moonology, actually. I am doing things just however I feel called to, and that's how I feel called to do it right now. So, any messages for the collective, please? Balance spirituality and practicality. Any messages? And we have you and your loved ones are safe. Okay, so I'm getting a very ungrounded feeling with those two cards in combination for sure. Either one of those cards on their own, by the way, give me that feeling. So the two of them together are feeling very. I'm getting like afraid, even paranoid. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not trying to shame anybody. This is a very real. When you have spiritual gifts and you spend much of your time in the fifth dimension, remaining grounded or getting grounded into the third dimension is important because we do still have to live here. And so I'm getting afraid I'm getting I cannot say it, a fear of something, a fear. Okay. So people maybe don't realize, and this is again very important for people with spiritual gifts, that we were meant, I would say all of us, but some of us are able to kind of click into the matrix more easily and then live and thrive off of that field of energy. Where many of us, especially in this community, are very connected to the earth. Okay. We were meant to connect to what's real. So the earth and staying grounded. Unfortunately, the way the world is set up, it's not depending. Of course, there are people who are homesteading or living off the land and things like that. Making sure that you're getting your bare feet grounded into the earth is going to be really important here. Getting enough vitamin D3 and K2 would be, especially if you're unable to get out in the sun and get your feet connected to the earth, which, by the way, there's no way that it's impossible for you to do that. So I don't care how hard it is, or if you have to ask somebody to help you get down to an area where you can get your feet planted in the ground. It's very important that you do this. Of course, getting any sunshine onto your skin at this time would be great. And then the very last, the worst case scenario is if you cannot for some reason do that, getting a vitamin D3 and K2 supplement into your system would be I want to say like an acceptable but not sufficient replacement. Okay. Because this is your fear center. Of course, it's a spiritual thing, and you can find scientific proof about this particular subject as well. The spiritual reason behind it is, or the actual natural, and I think this is the more scientific reason behind it, not just because D3 or a deficiency of D3 causes your fear center to overact, but also because we were meant to be connected to the core of the earth or the earth energy core energy, Earth's core energy. Okay. So when a person that has spiritual gifts isn't doing the proper amount of grounding, it really starts to affect the fear center of your brain. Okay. And I'm going to get some tarot on this as well. It says here, your hard, the end of a tough cycle approaches. So I am getting like, by the way, I am not a medical doctor, and I like to give that. I do put that in all of my things because I get a lot of information on things that would be perceived as medical, but they're actually spiritual. So always take whatever guidance you get here to um, if you're feeling unsafe and you need medical help, please do see a medical professional for that. What I'm going to tell you is that if you don't get your feet planted into the ground or your body submerged into a natural body of water, even a non-natural body of water, so the water from the faucet in your shower could really help you here. Getting some minerals like Epsom salt or something into the bath with you would be great as well. But the best things you can do is get connected to the earth's energy, life force energy. So again, into a natural body of water, into the mountains, touching a tree, feet planted into the ground in some way. Okay. So these are, and I don't know what I was going to say there, except for that if you're feeling unstable or unsafe to the point of you're not feeling safe with yourself, then please do seek out any help that you may need. Okay. But for those of you who are just uncomfortable at this time with this feeling, please trust me when I say that grounding into the earth saved my entire life, my mental health, and that fear of everything. Paranoia, it really is a very serious. You can look it up that there is scientific proof that vitamin D3 or a deficiency of vitamin D3, which actually just means that if you don't get out and see the sun, like every living thing must do in order to stay alive, then you're going to start dying inside. Okay. I hope this is helpful for you. We got the four of, yeah, it's like you can't enjoy anything because you're so preoccupied with whatever you're afraid of at this time. Um, Two of Wands. We get a little bit more here. Three of Pentacles. Something. Yeah, something needing you to move or take action here. And it's like you're still. I'm getting like a deer in headlights energy because you're terrified of something that, by the way, your intuition is one thing, but this irrational fear of something is it's a deficiency from the sun. Okay. So I just can't stress to you enough how wildly important it is, because I do think there's a lot of things and opportunities for you. I think you're very gifted, by the way. And I was saying earlier that those of us who are fifth dimensionally gifted really have to connect to the earth and get centered and grounded. Um, because we do spend some amount of time in the fifth dimension where we can only feel things, and that's not what the rest of the world can perceive as a reality. It can be a little bit dangerous for us, especially if we're stuck in the fifth dimension so much that we are unable to perceive the third dimension vividly. Okay. This means that you could be being taken advantage of in the third dimension because of your ability to feel and see things in the fifth dimension. I hope this makes sense for you. Feels like a very I can't kind of spit out what it just feels like a painful reading, but the divine is saying you are safe. You have to take these steps to make sure that you're grounded though. And again, if you can get next to the ocean here to do some soul healing, there's so much that goes into what creates this fear. Of course, it's now telling me that there was some childhood trauma that caused an initial disconnect from your, it's like that kind of caused, yeah, that disconnect from feeling grounded. There's just this kind of constant fight or flight mode when you've lived in a childhood that you had to fear for your literal life, and it causes you to feel unstable and ungrounded at all times. Also, it happens to be, I believe, why and how we become gifted in the fifth dimension because we have to get good at perceiving things that are not seen so that we know how to keep ourselves safe. Um, in adulthood, learning how to try to perceive all of these things and then regulate your emotions and also remain, because not everybody's going to understand what's going on with you. A lot of people that are only third dimensionally inclined are not going to get, they're just, of course, going to want to diagnose you um, and medicate you and things like that. So there's a strong need for you to kind of use the earth to medicate yourself at this time, which again, getting in, it's saying the ocean would be the best place. If you can get into the ocean, that would be lovely. Any springs are also great. Rivers, lakes, of course, only be safe in any of these areas. But um, kind of like talking to God and the earth while you are submerged in the water is what they're saying right now, is just like really releasing any of this fear, any of this kind of disconnected feeling into the earth, and then asking to reconnect with the earth's life force energy is what it's saying here. I mean, there's just a large amount of healing that is still being done. Ooh, this, because it's kind of keeps bringing up this. It reminds me of my one of the biggest parts of my awakening. Of course, I think we go through many different awakenings throughout our lifetime. Those of us who are called to awaken in this lifetime, of course, I think there are people who are not going to ever be able to perceive things beyond what they're being told, um, which kind of makes us who can perceive the things that are unseen, if we aren't healed or grounding or taking good care of ourselves. By the way, eating nutritious, nutrient dense foods is going to be really important here as well. Because these people that can't perceive what we can perceive will make you feel like what you're perceiving is crazy. And I want to remind you that the paranoid feeling, because having fifth dimensional gifts and being able to perceive the unseen is not always scary or terrifying. Okay. That's only when we are not also grounding into the earth, um, and taking care of ourselves nutritionally with our gifts. Okay. There's a need to do that. When you have, this is what I'm going to say to you, people that end out on the streets kind of talking gibberish and they sound crazy, and these are ungrounded, although again, you would think they are more grounded now being out there, but there's a need to take care of. They're not getting enough nutrients and things from the earth that you need to survive this type of awareness. It's like the words aren't coming out exactly how I want them to, but I think the message is coming through. I hope you understand what I'm saying here, but I am worried that you are believing what people are saying about you. And again, there is a place where you can become dangerous to yourself and others if you don't take care of yourself when you have these fifth dimensional gifts. So please take the time to do what is best for you. Of course, a need for boundaries, but it's almost like you don't even know where you need the boundaries right now because you're so ungrounded that you can't perceive the third dimension as well as you'll need to have healthy and solid boundaries. So there's a strong need to get very connected and earthed and grounded. Okay, I hope that this makes sense for you. And again, if just starting out with some, I'm going to give you a few things that started helping me get grounded. One of them is the vitamin D3 and K2. Of course, I use Dr. Eric Berg. I love him so much. That is the vitamin that I choose to use, but also just making sure that there aren't any fillers or additives or unhealthy things in addition to the like in addition to the vitamin itself. Okay. Of course, anything will be beneficial, but if you are going to do a D3, make sure that it does come with K2. The other thing is a moringa powder or shilajit or some sort of very nutrient dense um supplement in until you can start getting more raw natural earth foods into your system. These are some things that might help with any deficiencies. Okay. And um I feel like there was one more. So shilajit, again, you're always going to want to go with a reputable brand of these things, because especially if you're going like on Amazon or something, I would go to almost like a reputable health food store, okay, to try to find the moringa powder. I use organic India, by the way. Um, I mean, changed my whole life between that and the D3, my energy levels. And then I started having the energy to go out and ground and do the things that I needed to do to really start taking care of myself. Again, this was how I kind of came out of this dark hole. It felt like this never ending, dark, lonely place. And I feel like that's where you're at right now. But I want you to know that it gets brighter, it gets lighter, and you're healing. And it's painful. And so, on top of all of this, you're probably also trying to release years of trauma, which unfortunately, to release it, we have to feel it in its full capacity, right? So the reason why we suppress things is because we're unable to, usually because we're too young to feel the pain at its full capacity. So then later, years later, we'll try to, our body is constantly trying to purge this, or release this energy, but we will continuously suppress it because we're like, ooh, what is this icky feeling? Either I'll get high or I'll do this or I'll work constantly so I don't have to feel this, right? Whatever you're doing to stop the feeling of feeling it, is actually how we suppress this trauma that is trying to be released. So it feels like, on top of needing to be grounded, there is some painful, traumatic, stagnant energy in your core that's also trying to come out. So it's a lot. And I just want you to really understand that nutrients and any the sun, okay, the sun and anything, the trees, the mountains, the water, anything natural is going to help you get through this. And it is also just going to be painful as you release the traumatic, memories as they come up. Again, the reason why they are suppressed in the first place is because we probably weren't capable of feeling the type of pain that we were going through as a child. So now that we kind of have the capacity to do so, it is going to continuously try to come to the surface. It comes by way of memories. By the way, you'll be thinking about something, you're like, "Ooh, I don't want to think about that." And you'll try to stop thinking about it. But thinking about it and feeling the pain of it as if it's occurring now is actually how the healing process works, and the releasing, okay? I love you, and that you're getting there, and these things will definitely make some of this extremely painful things that you just are inevitable in healing on this journey, and this spiritual journey, this awakening journey. It takes away, it relieves you from some of the pain, or it helps you clear it up or sort it out, or again, walking or jumping into the water and just crying your brains out. Like, these are some ways that the earth was meant to help you release some of this energy, right? So just getting out there and feeling the pain that you're going through and releasing it into the ocean. If you can do that, that's a lovely way. Or again, sitting on a mountaintop and meditating, and barefoot and hands on the ground, hands on the trees, however you can do it. Okay. I hope this is helpful. If you ever have any questions or are interested in a personal reading, you can always email me at the email address listed below. I do have pricing and things like that listed below, as well as on my website. Okay. I love you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this did resonate for you. And if you'd like me to be more likely to pick up on your energy in the future, I am sending you all of my love through some of the things that I genuinely thought would never end in my life. And I want to say that I promise you, the more you take the time out to feel and do these little things that I'm talking about, getting out and grounding and getting into the earth and eating nutritious foods, nutrient dense foods, taking a supplement, and if you have to supplement just to get your body out of the deficit of all of the things that our bodies were created to naturally consume from the earth. Um, you're getting there, and I'm so proud of you, and and I just am I'm hugging you through this, through whatever this is, what all of this is. And I promise you that brighter days are definitely ahead. I love you, and again, always here if you need me.